there, my name is Sarah and I'm a librarian at the Otranto Road Regional Library with CCPL, and today I've come to talk to you about an important topic for when you get out in the real world, and that has to do with money, right? Budgeting. How do we start a budget? How do we do a budget? Unfortunately, I don't have a plant here that grows money on trees, so I need to be careful with my money and make sure that I know what I'm spending each month so that I can also save for any future goals I want. Maybe I want to take a trip. I need to learn how to save that. There's a bunch of easy tips and ways to do this. It can seem pretty complicated, and guesstimating right is not going to always work for your budget, so you really want to plan out for things that you want to do with your money and make sure you have enough for everything that you need each month. Let's get right to it. How do you even start a budget? Well, you're going to need to write down everything you spend your money on.
So that's going to be things like your rent, your car payment, your insurance, both health and car, groceries, dining out, and shopping and entertainment. And you're going to take all of these categories, add them up together, right? That's going to be your total expenses. Then take your total income and subtract those total expenses, and you want this number to be greater than zero. If it is less than zero, you are spending more than you earn.
And right, so consider what you could spend less on. Maybe you're spending too much on shopping, on things that you don't really need, but things that you want, right? And like those non-essential categories, and consider your financial goals, like I mentioned at the beginning, right? What do you want to save up for? Is it a trip with friends? Do you want to get a new phone? Is there a camera you want to buy, right? Anything like that. Consider your financial goals. Look towards the future, look at your money and what you want to save up for. That needs to go into your budget too, right? That's another category that you add on. In addition to your insurance, right? You're adding up a savings category. That way you know where that money is going each month. And you're always going to record your spending, right? And we'll get into a few apps that make it easy to record your spending. And this is a living document, right? Your budget, you're gonna always track your progress, review and revise, right? Because things change, emergencies happen, we always have to recalculate. So don't consider your budget as a one-time thing, right? You're not writing down one-time expenses and then forgetting about it. So that's the basics on how to get started with your budget. So there's some common things that happen when you first create a budget, right? And that is estimating irregular expenses, right? Things that you don't really account for. So watch out for any patterns in your previous month's spending, right? See what you spend your money on the most. Is it shopping? Is it dining out, going out to eat with friends, stuff like that? You want to watch for your personal spending patterns. That way you can plan for the future, right? You still want to do those things, just put it in your budget. Another thing is paying for emergency expenses, right? Say your car battery dies and you don't have an emergency fund, right, to get a new car battery. Then that kind of domino affects the rest of your budget, right? And it can make it really hard if you don't plan out for emergencies. Just enough to cover a simple emergency fund to get started, right? Just add that into your budget as well. Add another line to your budget of money that you put away for emergencies. That way it's there when you need it. Then there's things like forgetting one-time expenses, right? This is birthday gifts, this is your monthly subscription to, say, a music service, or any type, like a wedding present, anything like that. Those are some other things that are one-time expenses that you might not think about that you need to account for, maybe in your shopping category or another area like that. You can have another category for that. So make sure you don't forget about those type of purchases when you're making your budget. I have some personal tips for saving money if you're off to college. So if you're going off to college this fall and you are going to be on campus, right, most freshmen are required to have a dining hall pass, a meal pass. You're already going to be paying for it with your tuition, right? Use it. Don't say, oh, well, I'm not going to make it to breakfast, right? You're already paying for this. Use it. Go get food with your friends at the dining hall, right? Don't let it go to waste. And if you don't have a meal plan, meal prep, right? Don't get on campus and say, oh, I didn't pack my meal. Well, guess I'm gonna have to buy this coffee, right? Coffee adds up. Say you're getting 3 coffees a week, right? Say coffees and food. It's $5 per visit, right? That's $60 a month and $720 a year. Think of all the money you can save for a trip with friends if you didn't spend that money on coffee, right? Just on coffee, $720, right? There's so many simple things that you can do with your money to be prepared for other things that you want to do in your life. So definitely meal prep, think about your meals, use the meal pass if you have one. My tip number 2, avoid buying something just because everyone has it, right? It's those trendy items. It's the new pair of sneakers that everybody wants. It's the new shorts, shirt, jacket, whatever it is, the new trendy item, right? Don't buy those items just because everybody has it. I know it can be tempting to buy an item that everyone has, right? To fit in, whatever it is that your motivation for that item is. I promise you, items like that you buy because someone else has it and not because you actually would wear it, you're gonna wear twice and then that money is gonna go to waste. And usually those trendy items are pretty expensive, right? So think about that. Thrift if possible, right? It's better for the environment and better for your budget. And tip number 3 with off to college is with textbooks, right? Shop around. Rent when you can. Look on Amazon. That was my go-to for shopping for textbooks, as well as other textbook rental sites online that you can get textbooks at a lower price. Shop around for textbooks because some you have to get at the bookstore, right? There's some you can't avoid, but shop around for the ones you can and always look for the better price, right? Don't just go to the first option that you see because lots of times there's a better deal out there. So those are my 3 tips for saving money in college, and I hope you find those a little helpful and think about those when spending your money. Okay, so I know I've thrown a lot at you, a lot of different tips, a lot of ways to calculate your budget and make sure that you're being smart with your money, and that can be a little overwhelming. Luckily, there are a lot of outside tools that can help us make this a lot easier, right? And there's 2 good apps that I would recommend, and that is Mint is the first one, and then Pocket Guard is the second one. And we're gonna go through what they look like, some basic features of them, and hopefully that'll help you make your budget a little easier and always with you, right? In your pocket, in your phone.
So first thing, we're gonna look at Mint is the first app. And when you open up the app, first time you're gonna need to create an account. And then after you create an account, this is what your home page is going to look like. It's going to be easier to track your spending by linking your bank account, but you can also manually add transactions. So here's the one that I'm going to do for $15, and you can customize it if you paid for it by cash, check, or credit or debit card. And so we're doing a $15 expense here. And then after you do that, you also can categorize it. So right now it's currently uncategorized, and we can change that. There's a whole bunch of categories available, and we're just going to choose books for this one. Most importantly with this, you can create a budget. So you'll see once you click that plus button and click create budget, you have a bunch of categories that you can choose from for your personal budget. And you can also customize each line in your budget. So it's really down to what you're spending your money on each month. And so searching through all of these, first we're going to add our rent. So it's going to be under the home category towards the bottom. And then after you click on mortgage and rent, you will use that slider and you're going to change it to however much your rent is each month. And then just slide it all the way up. Click on save. And then that creates a new line in your budget. This is what we talked about earlier with you need to budget for your savings, and the app automatically encourages you to budget out money for savings each month, which is a great feature that Mint does. Then you just keep adding different lines in your budget so that your transactions will go under each category, and you can budget out what you want to spend things on, like your groceries, for instance. Pocket Guard is going to be the second app that I would recommend. These are both free apps you can just find in the App Store. And you're going to need to create an account. And it's pretty similar to Mint in creating a budget and tracking your transactions by linking your bank account. You will have to link your bank account to access any of the features on this. Right after you log in, this is the home screen you're going to get, and it's going to encourage you to right away link your bank account. You can't see the features that it has, like how Mint lets you add manual transactions. You'll just search for your bank here. These are the most common banks that they have up, but you can always just search for your bank. And then security is their number one priority, and it should be yours too. Do not link your bank account to unsecure apps.
Thanks so much for joining me. I hope that you can take a few of these tips and practice them in your everyday spending. Bye, everyone.